What'd you say about my dad, Voldemort? He was a good guy.
He's a
good
Get out, man. Get out of me.
He's a good fucking guy.
Oh, you think
know
you're
what,
better than
mate?
me?
You want me to get my
You think you're
fucking
better than
one
me?
that? One
Oh.
that, yeah? One
Yeah,
that?
shoot me
One
then.
that?
Shoot me.
Alright then,
Shoot me.
fucking
Shoot
fuck
me.
the Wombat, yeah?
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
you're nothing.
look at that.
Oh,
you
Baraka
missed
Dama.
Oh,
No.
Still going.
What are you up to now?
Whoa! Whoa! Oh! Hogwarts Legacy. It's finally out. After such a long time, I remember seeing this game back in I don't know when, what E3 was shown off. I didn't know it was shown off at E3. Regardless, the game is out, and it is very political. And this review is very late. Anyway, as for the game, I was excited for it. But that being said, I don't know anything about Harry Potter. I've only seen the first 2 movies and I loved them. But as for the rest of the franchise, I just never cared. And especially with the actual overall franchise, like Fantastic Beast, it's just going downhill. Otherwise, I'm very excited for this game. But how is it? Well, Hogwarts Legacy was made by Avalanche Software, not Avalanche Studios, not the creators of the Just Cause series. I was very confused by this. Instead, this Avalanche are notorious for their children games. This is the first time actually making a big AAA video game, and as it goes, it's alright, but there's problems. So let's get into it. When you first get into the game before the story, you have the character creator, and this game is perhaps the worst one I've ever seen. The game gives you presets and you can't change anything, so you better hope there's a face that looks like yours, otherwise you're out of luck. And the voice is okay, the pitch changes the voice, but it makes them sound robotic. Like, why? This is such trash, I need to fix this as soon as possible, or at least the next game better be better. I hope it does. Anyway, the main crux of every game is the story, and Hogwarts Legacy is no different. You play as a new student who enters as a 5th year. You have a rare ability to use ancient magic. During the events of the game, you will uncover the hidden truth about the ancient magic and will embark on a quest to prevent the rise of a dark force. That dark force being a goblin that wields dark magic. He wants to take over the wizarding world and it's evil because... wizards are bad, boo-hoo, I'm sad, I'm angry. We can't ever get along, I must destroy them. Look at me, I'm evil. I got red eyes to show how evil I am. Yep, that's his whole story. You don't ever get to learn more about him. That's it. He's just evil. There's another plot point which revolves around flashbacks about a person who could also use the ancient magic. But it quickly falls apart as the story beats for those moments are bare bones as it has no weight on my character or the moral conflict that will come about. For both plot points, I couldn't care less about them. The flashbacks are predictable, have no weight on my character, and the actions of the past are set in stone and they have no effect on me. The story wouldn't change if I never saw them. Also, my character has no input with anything. Honestly, they could just not exist and nothing will change. They're only ever mentioned when a plot calls for it. For an example. That cutscene is like when you're gonna hang out with a friend, but he has his other friends around, and you want to talk to them, but they don't want to talk to you, so you want to leave, but can't leave because it's awkward, and they'll only talk to you because they feel bad. That's what this whole game feels like. That's what that cutscene feels like. And it's not just that one cutscene, there's loads more. From beginning to the end of the game, you feel like someone who just doesn't belong at Hogwarts. Regardless, if anything, the plot is the equivalent if a clan was sad but wanted to make the world happy. It wouldn't be so bad if the characters leading it were interesting, but they and the journey you go through feels uninspiring. Just about everything to do with the story is dull, and that's in large part because of the characters you'll meet. Like, sure, the plot sucks, but they suck more. Every character you meet sucks. They're unbelievably naive and never grow. No matter what happens during the story, they're always in the right and they can do no wrong. The characters feel like they were written by an AI chatbot trying to mimic human speech. The characters don't reflect on the actions that have taken place. They're incredibly shallow with no complexity. They act and behave like they do from beginning to end. Even when in conversations, they act like what an AI would think humans behave like. They smile throughout the whole conversation and stop once it ends. It's pretty jarring to see it throughout a whole game. And as the main character goes, they basically do the same thing. And even though they're a blank slate that can be shaped however you want, they lack any personality. Even with the choices given, they can be fun, but for the most part, they're incredibly dull and boring. Like everybody else, they're way too nice. Even to the most vile characters. But that's where Sebastian comes in, baby! He's the crux of the game, and he's the only one that pushed me to the end because, ironically, Sebastian has a far more interesting side plot than anything else. His best friend Ominous is so sick, Sebastian is bare sick, and then myself, we make a sick trio. Ironically, Sebastian has a far more interesting side plot than anything to do with the main plot, as his goal is to find a way to cure his sister by any means necessary, even if it means rummaging through the dark arts. His quests are the most enduring because of how he acts and how he's fleshed out compared to the other characters. He speaks to you as an equal, but also someone who fights alongside you and challenges you with the choices you'll make. With the other characters and almost everyone else, they're all yes men. We should have joined him throughout the whole game finding a cure for his sister, or the game should have taken his story and made it our own. So we had to make the choices for how far we would go for our loved ones. That should be the sequel, because as it stands, the main plot sucks. It has no weight on me or my character. Overall, the story is bland and it has to get a rating of 4 out of 10. It's nothing I'll remember, it's quite boring, the characters are different but all act the same. There's nothing about it I enjoyed. And that's in large part because of the gameplay. A massive problem with Hogwarts Legacy comes from the fact that its dialogue choices are trash. Almost none of them in this game matter. Yes, it is an RPG, but unlike any other RPG I've played, Hogwarts Legacy has possibly the worst choices of all time. None of the choices you make have any real resolution or conflict to the overall story. It's like, oh god, what's going on?
Brother! Brother, what happened here? Who did this? Who did it? Who did it? You killed my brother.
I'm sorry.
Now I'm gonna fucking kill you.
No, we can work this out. Hi there, my name's Hamad.
Hello, Hamad. My name is Jerry. Nice to meet you.
Oh, about your brother, I'm so sorry. About him,
That's
I
okay.
didn't mean it.
He was a troublesome brother, and he did many bad things in his life.
Oh, okay. I guess you could say it's the inside that counts.
Indeed. But must be going now.
Okay, see you, Jerry.
Goodbye.
Alright. Yeah, so something like that. For some reason, the game has these choices, but almost for no reason. They're all completely pointless. But outside of the conversations, we have the combat. And before the game came out, I said a game about wizards and wand magic is dead. But then I played it, I'm dead wrong. It goes hard, baby. It's so sick, launching a man into the air and then juggling him halfway across the room, only then to slam him down to the ground. It's so sick. So yeah, the combat's polished and well executed, I haven't played a game with a similar style to this. The combat's really fun when you unlock more spells to help you unlock different combo strings, but for the most part, while the combat is well done, it does have a lot of problems. Like the control scheme, for example. Switching spell sets always feels clunky. Like, how are you meant to hold the controller? Like this? Like this? Like this? It's really dumb, because the button for spell switching is the left D-pad plus the attack button. But when you press it without the attack button, revealo happens. But why does revealo happen? Nothing in combat ever has you reveal anything. So why not just disable that function when in combat? Then there's a problem with how some spells act like other spells. So you have 2 or 3 spells that do the same action, just slightly differently. And then there's the issue with the enemy variety. It's really disappointing. We got loads of spiders, a handful of goblins, some bandits, and like 38 trolls, and nothing else. It's really bland. The world of Harry Potter is incredible for enemies, and we got such trash. You can also use potions and plants in combat, but they're basic. Like the potions that become a stone, so attacks are reflected or gain faster cooldown. I wish mixing potions was possible and it should create different spells or abilities. That would be so sick. But as it stands, it's bog standard. And as for the plants, they're just minions, that's it. They do nothing special. But the biggest problem with the potions and plants is that you have to make them. And you can't make a set. You have to make them individually, one by one. And it's in real time. It's really dumb. I don't get why. And there could have been a mini game to making the potions, and that should have been a way to mix potions and make different spells. That would be cool. Hopefully the next game includes that. So while combat has its ups and downs, how does the open world fare? Well, Hogwarts is where all the money was spent. The castle is so cool. It feels alive and mysterious. And even after 25 hours into the game, it continued to surprise me. Exploring it felt like I was at a museum. Each room, hallway, corridor has rich history spanning over 1,000 years. I always wanted to explore this huge labyrinth of a castle, and Avalanche did just that. There's so much to it I can talk about. It has its own share of secrets, legends, and stories that add to its charm and allure. It's amazing. I love it. There's a ton of hidden rooms and secret passageways and mysteries in Hogwarts. Finding them is such a treat. But as soon as you move away from Hogwarts, as far as the open world goes, it's bland. Nothing about it really screams magical. There's Hogsmeade and it's great for the 5 minutes you're there, but soon after you'll want to explore the rest of the world, and by the time you unlock the broom to do so, the game quickly shows how basic it actually is. A large sum of this game is the same looking scenery throughout. Nothing about it feels unique. Everywhere looks the same, and that sucks. The world shouldn't have been as big as it is, and no one can convince me otherwise. You see this map? Look how massive it is. You don't even go to the other side of the map until 3/4 of the game. You do like 3 missions, and that's it. That entire area is irrelevant, making you question, what was the point? Overall, the world can be magnificent for shorthand periods, but when you travel for 5 minutes and see nothing but the same environments, it becomes repetitive and adds nothing of value. Like, for example, outside of Hogsmeade, and Hogsmeade alone, there's no other town like it, as it's the only goddamn town in the whole goddamn map. Like, what? There has been no other game where the open world is massive and there's only one town. That's wild. And Hogsmeade isn't even a big town. It's like a really small village town that just so happens to have a community. Like, this is really unexcusable. And the world continues to disappoint. There's never anything random happening. No NPCs, no random events, no secrets, no real mini-games. The map feels empty. You can do certain mini-games, but they're incredibly limited. Like, you can only do 5 rounds of this ball game, and that's it. The game lacks Quidditch or any other pastime in the Harry Potter universe. Even if Quidditch was in the game, the broomstick controls are horrendous. Why does the left analog stick control up and down and altitude, while the right stick also moves the camera? It's such a confusing control scheme. It's so bad. This needs to be fixed. Continuing with the world, what exactly is there to do? So like any other open world game, it has the usual collectathon, fight the enemy, conquer the area, save the man, do the random quest, talk to moments, gain issue magic, explore the caves, do the million trials, do the rooms of trials, capture animals, and there's so much more. It's wild. This game has so much to do, but almost all of it sucks. Some quests really capture the magic of being in the wizarding world, but the majority are uninspired garbage. The most interesting part about this game is customizing your character and changing outfits, and this game is an RNG loot fest, and that aspect sucks. But it's also cool, as no matter the gear you obtain, as long as it's all new items, they can be transmogged. So that's really badass. Otherwise, for the first time ever, I've experienced fatigue. I don't even play many open world games, but the ones I do, I've enjoyed. However, with Hogwarts Legacy, the game overloads you with mid-quest after mid-quest, and the quests themselves are bad, and I just want to stop. This game lacks a lot and needs a lot, like it needs a social function. There should be way more students that you get to interact with, and you should get to know them and deepen your bond with them, but also they should help you in return. They should be able to join you on quests, and you should be able to take them out. There needs to be a rivalry between houses, maybe some multiplayer inclusion. Just stuff like that. That would be so cool. But as it stands, this game lacks so much. And as of right now, this game's gameplay is a 5 out of 10. If anything, if there's ever another Hogwarts Legacy, there's definitely going to be another one because they sold gangbusters. I hope we get into a different time period with way more locations outside of Hogsmeade. There needs to be more stuff to do. Maybe multiplayer even. Give characters complex identities that don't equalize who happy or goofy. Have a real morality system in the next game. This game isn't perfect, but it's a good groundwork for what they could build upon. And I hope Avalanche does do that. Whoa! And that's it for me. If you like this video, do like, subscribe, and follow, ring the bell. Is that a thing people do? Still, I haven't rung a bell ever. Wait, I don't know. Yeah, okay, bye.